All right, the Atlanta Falcons just got a double dose of good news in this offseason. And I'm telling you what, we like doing Falcons videos on this channel. It's not the only team we do. If you love football, this is the channel for you. But hey, I want to tell you about us. My name's Craig. Me and my buddy Chris started this channel 2-3 years ago. It's not our first one. We have another one called Sports Talk Detroit. We are Lions fans. And what we love doing is talking about teams in the NFL that the national media just kind of ignores, that they just kind of skirt by. And so we absolutely want to talk about some of these teams, and we feel like the Atlanta Falcons are one of them. We also feel like the fan bases of Detroit and Atlanta can kind of understand each other. Similar cities, similar fan bases, and that respect and understand not just hard work, but they love their teams. They're loyal to their teams. And so the double dose of good news on this comes in a couple of different forms. I do want to talk overall about the talent of this roster and give a non-biased view of it. But first, let's start with a PFF article that came out. And I've been talking about this, and they came out with an article that was their top 25 players under 25 entering the 2025 NFL season. All right? So there are a few teams, like a handful of teams, that have multiple players on this. There are the Detroit Lions. Obviously, that's my team. They have 5. That's just ridiculous. But then there is the Houston Texans that have 3. And then there's a few teams that have 2. And the Atlanta Falcons are one of the teams with 2. 2 really good players that have stood out enough. Who do you think those 2 players are? Top 25, under 25. One, not surprised by at all. The other one, I'm not surprised he's on the list, but I am kind of surprised how far up he is. And so we're going to look at that, and then we're going to look at another article that I was looking at where I was talking about the best 3 players. And I'm going to talk to you about why this is just good news on multiple fronts. So let's look at the rankings. First, you have Penei Sewell with the Detroit Lions. You get your first wide receiver, Puka Nacua, Kyle Hamilton. Yes, these are very good players. We understand that. Jaden Daniels is the first quarterback here. Probably would be higher if he can do it in back-to-back seasons. I'm just going to be completely honest. If he had done it 2 years in a row, he should be number 1. Even though I love the Lions. I love the Lions. I think he should be. Even that WAR, wins above replacement at 3.11. Wow. Trent McDuffie of the Kansas City Chiefs. Man, they just keep pumping out great corners, don't they? Jared Verse of the Rams. Will Anderson Jr. of the Texans. Brian Branch of the Lions. And then you get your first guy, Bijan Robinson of the Atlanta Falcons. Here's what it has to say. Robinson is the first running back on this list. I'm a Lions fan. I will be honest when I'm making this video. I would have liked to see Gibbs over Bijan Robinson. I think he's been a little more efficient with the carries that he does get, but Bijan Robinson is a remarkable talent. He said he's the first running back on this list, with his 2024 season serving as a catalyst to put him over the top for the position. He earned an elite 92.8 PFF rushing grade, which ranked behind only Derrick Henry this past season. Yes, only Derrick Henry, not behind Saquon Barkley, who went over 2,000 yards. Right? Nope. It was behind only Derrick Henry. Robinson was also one of just 2 running backs in 2024, along with Jacobs, to rank inside the top 5 at his possession in both rushing and receiving grade, serving as a true high-end workhorse at the position for the first time in his career. That's a trend we should expect to continue from the former top 10 pick. Look, running back has been a devalued position in the NFL. Last year proved that's just flat out not true. Successful teams had good running backs. And here's what I've always said about the running back position in the NFL. It is devalued. They don't get paid enough. They're starting to get paid a little bit more. They don't get paid enough. It is devalued because their shelf life is so short. But there is no position that can make a quicker, more immediate impact. I mean, obviously quarterback. But there is no position that can just completely alter your offense faster than a running back. All right? Draft a running back, boom, offense transformed, right? You can just change everything. You add a running back into the right offense, it changes everything. And I think when you have Bijan Robinson with Michael Penix, watch out, right? And by the way, there's a couple of players that I think could be on this list next year that are on your team. And we'll look for it. And I think Michael Penix could be one of those guys. I absolutely do, based on the short sample size we saw. All right, so I told you had one more. Who do you think it is? Leave it in the comment. Pause it. Do whatever. See if you can get it right. You don't have to go down far. It's wide receiver, number 11 overall. Wide receiver, I believe, number 2, just behind Puka Nacua. It's Drake London of the Atlanta Falcons. Drake London of the Atlanta Falcons. His 3-year grade is a 90.1. Did you know how effective he was? All right. First 2 years of London's career are both very encouraging for a top 10 wide receiver pick. He earned a top 25 PFF receiving grade in each season before truly breaking out last year in year 3 with a 90.1 PFF receiving grade, the 4th best mark in the regular season. He set career highs not just in a PFF receiving grade, but also in yards route per run, 2.32, targets, almost 150. He got 100 catches, 1,271 receiving yards, and 9 receiving touchdowns. Phenomenal season from Drake London, and one that I would expect to see consistently here on out, and it will only get better with Penix as his quarterback instead of what it was the previous 2.5 years before it was Penix as his quarterback. It's only going to get better. He was putting up decent numbers with awful quarterback play. Awful quarterback play. Now, Kirk Cousins always is pretty good for a number 1 wide receiver when it comes to putting up numbers, but that quickly faded away last year, didn't it? You can be excited about that. You're one of only a few teams that had 2 players on the top 25, under 25. Now, there's another list out there by PFF that I think is so cool that talks about, so that was your double dose, but I'm just going to give you a little bonus here on the Falcons. All right, they went through and they talked about the top 3 players on each team. And when you look at this one, all right, I want you to be able to see it. You have safety, Jesse Bates III, guard, Chris Lindstrom, all right, and running back, Bijan Robinson. So one of your best 25 under 25, the number 11 player and the best players under 25 in the NFL didn't even make the list for your best 3 players. That shows you the depth that's starting to happen on this team. That shows you the depth that's starting to happen. Terry Fontenot, look, if you go back, we streamed the draft live with Sports Talk Extra. We did. And when the Atlanta Falcons, after signing Kirk Cousins, when they signed Michael Penix Jr., they drafted him, and the entire NFL world went, "What are you doing?" I said, I actually get it. Like, when you look at Kirk Cousins' contract, it's actually a 2-year contract. They need to have a replacement. What if he's not fully healed off of his Achilles injury? Like, there were so many questions, and it looked like a GM that was going to say, fine, I'll listen to ownership and I will get Kirk Cousins, but then I'm going to go get my guy. That was a genius move. And I think the move that they are going to use, that they used to trade up for Pierce, the defensive end, so now they have a double or tag team of Pierce and Walker on the edge after not having a good edge for years, will be viewed as a similarly great move. The Atlanta Falcons have a solid roster. Look at this thing. Tell me this isn't a good roster. Like, tell me this is a roster that isn't worthy of competing for and winning the South. Look, we talk about the Bucs on this channel. We even talk a little bit, believe it or not, about the Saints and the Panthers. Not nearly as much. We mostly talk Falcons and Bucs, right? This, if I'm being completely honest, is my pick for winning the NFC South this year. This is the team. And I think when you look at it, you have to make the argument of why not. If Penix Jr. is good, right? Not great, but if he's just good, where is there anywhere that this team is weak and struggling? They have a good defensive line now. They have a good to great offensive line with Matthews, Bergeron, Lindstrom, McGarry. That is solid, both for pass protection and to run the ball. They have a top 10 wide receiver, all right, and Mooney, who came on strong last year. They have the always waiting for it Pitts at tight end. They have what is arguably the best or a top 5 minimum running back. But here's the thing. Like when we talk about the top running backs in the NFL, the conversation starts and stops pretty quick, right? It's Saquon Barkley, it's Derrick Henry, it's Bijan Robinson, and it's Jahmyr Gibbs. And if Christian McCaffrey is healthy, he can be in that conversation as well. That's it. There's nobody else that's in that conversation. Ashton Jeanty will want to say something about that probably this year. But there's nobody else in that conversation right now. You got one of those elite guys. They have surrounded Penix Jr. with a good defense, a better defense, and a offense that absolutely should be up to snuff. Like, that's what we need to look at. And I think what people forget when you're looking at PFF grades alone, their offense was tied for second last year. Their defense was 16th. But points scored and points allowed, so they graded out well, but points scored, they were 13th. And points allowed, they were 23rd. Losing turnover battles, things like that you can change those things in the course of a season. This is a team that's ready to compete. So when I say double dose of good news, what I'm talking about is 2 guys in the top 25. What I'm talking about is a more well-rounded out roster. A good top 3. You have elite talent on the top, and then you have more talent throughout the roster, which makes it so good. All right, hope you guys enjoyed this. Hope you guys enjoy listening to this channel. We like making Falcons content, so keep hitting that subscribe button, keep hitting that like button, and keep watching the videos on the Falcons so we know that you're enjoying it and we can make more. All right, thanks. We'll see you on the next one.